depressing rhetoric, while hard to avoid, can be defied by using the tool that it's rooted from against itself, the media. Twigs directly defies it herself. In Holy Terrain, Twigs embraces the power of her sexuality. With that, she expresses her emotions in another song, Fallen Alien. She lets out her anger, something the media has denied her from doing. Mary Magdalene is the epitome of defiance, as the whole song is about woman's power, not just her power, but the need to have a sense of self. Through Heartbreak, Twigs has a realization about womanly autonomy. She takes a step back to find power and places herself as a priority. Twigs finds her individuality in her own actions and thoughts, not just the one pertaining to her relationships with the men in her life. While not always found in current day media, Twigs is making light of themes expressed throughout history, important themes that need to be listened to. One of the most long-standing examples defying the mold is Little Women. In the book, our protagonist Joe does not end up with the boy next door Laurie, rather an old professor. A curious choice, but one that makes sense with Louisa Alcott's view of the character. Alcott based the character largely on herself. Alcott, similar to Joe, did not want to be married. The BBC's History Archive reveals quotes from Alcott in her letters that support such. The article notes, quote, "When Alcott wrote the second part of Little Women, she resented the pressure to marry Joe off. I won't marry Joe to Laurie to please anyone," she insisted. Instead, Alcott hatched a plan to give Joe a funny match. She was aware of the potential reaction to this decision, writing to a friend, "I expect vials of wrath to be poured upon my head, but rather I enjoy the prospect." End quote. Alcott directly rejects the idea of the solution to a female's problems, the thing that gives her values, being a man. The romantic relationship with a female is not a bad thing at all. I myself love to consume media that centers on the romantic relationship of lives of women and their endeavors with men. The problem is when it is their sole solution or goal to their happiness, the only thing that gives them happiness or value. In an interview with Oprah magazine, Greta Gerwig talks about her adaptation of the book for the screen, saying, quote, "This is not the story of boy gets girl, but the story of girl gets book," quote unquote. Joe's character is an early example of deconstructing our ideas of a woman's value. She's such an interesting, enjoyable character that has stood the test of time because her story focuses on the goal and passion of her writing. It's not a bad thing for a story to focus on the romance between a couple. The issue is when the romance is the only defining trait of the woman. Evolved, constructive current media has shown that romance and female independence can exist at the same time. Entangled, for example, spoiler, Rapunzel falls in love with Eugene along her journey, but what ultimately defines her is her determination to find her family, her kindness, not by how great Eugene thinks she is. In the end, she's the one to save herself, a simple detail that allows for her characterization to be defined by her own actions, not that of her male counterpart. She is able to find herself in happiness with her own partner, but he's not the cure. A similar case is in the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Spoiler alert, at the end of the series, our main character Rebecca realizes to find happiness she first needs to work on herself instead of pursuing relationships. She needs to find what helps her handle her own DID and what her passions are. Only then can a relationship make her happy. These pieces of media present an unrepresented truth about women. Relationships can provide happiness, they can make you feel good, but it is ultimately toxic to let your goals and worth rely on your relationship status or how a man views you. Especially in a heterocentric society, to find happiness and success, women must cultivate their identity without the reliance of a man. If we want to better ourselves in the conversation about women, we must take a step back and critique the media we are consuming. While celebrity gossip can be interesting, accepting a media that ruthlessly demonizes women is not right. Supporting misogynic media and creators doesn't help either. While there's no perfect solution, if we take time to actively seek out media that deconstructs such awful ideas, it will lead to a conversation. If we as consumers keep playing into these harmful tropes in tabloids, we only contribute to greater stigma. While yes, women who do bad things should be criticized, men should also face those consequences. And the same thing goes around. If men can sing about sex, why can't women? If we want a more open society, we must let women lead their lives based on their own decisions regarding relationships, not overbearing them with societal expectation. Thank you.